Blessed gentle people, how are you doing? This is Lady B Official and welcome to another video. What's up? Right now we're going to talk a little bit about the environment that you're looking at, and if you notice, there's some leaves, some trees that have leaves, some trees that have blossoms, and some trees that seem to have just sticks. And we are in what you call the deciduous forest area of the ecosystem. We have a larger ecosystem that consists of the desert and some other areas. So we are a part of the deciduous forest. If you're from Jamaica, then you are in the tropical area. You understand? So right now, the trees you're looking at are trees that have shed their leaves, and what they do, the people, the landscaper, they just nice up the trees, make it look really good. But then after, when it reaches a certain time, they're gonna start blossoming again. And so one of the big topic right now is daylight saving time, and today is March 7, Saturday, but daylight saving time starts Sunday at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, daylight saving time helps to mess up our biological clock. However, researchers said that in order to make sure that your clock stay a little bit consistent during daylight saving time, as soon as you wake up, make sure you are in some bright light, whether it's the sunlight or whether it's a bright light in your house. That is what researchers said, and that will kind of help keep your biological clock a little bit stable. All right, so daylight saving time is a yearly change, right? And it starts March, as I said again, March 8th at 2 a.m. And most Americans will lose an hour of sleep when they spring forward. For nearly 20 years, this has been happening. So you pretty much, it is recommended that you go to your bed a little bit earlier. So if you used to go to your bed 8 o'clock, you go to your bed from 7. So that hour that we're going to skip, you still get it back. All right? So this is a typical example when they talk about what is daylight saving time. By shifting the clock forward an hour, daylight saving time moves an hour of daylight from the morning to the evening. So if when you get up in the morning, it looks dark, it's gonna look darker. And in the evening, when it gets dark early, it's gonna stay lighter. Okay, let me give you a better example. For example, on Sunday, the day before the time change takes effect, sunrise in Boston will be at 6:09 a.m. and sunset at 5:44 p.m., according to the National Weather Service. However, on Sunday, after the clock change, the sun will rise at 7:08 a.m. and set at 6:42 p.m. So we will be going to work in darkness. All right, what time and day? Okay, me already telling you that. For 2 decades preceding 2007, daylight saving time began in 1987, and that's the year when Gilbert started. Me think daylight saving time was in existence the whole time. Anyway, the Uniform Act of 1966 set to start the date as the last Sunday of April. During the energy crisis in the 1970s, Congress decided to try the daylight saving time beginning the first Sunday of January in 1974. According to the Congressional Research Service, the experiment didn't last a year, with the country going back to standard time in October and then resuming daylight saving time on the last Sunday of February 1975. After 1975, the start date went back to April. So it's a lot of experiment going on with this daylight saving time from way back in the days. Now, the question is, when will the daylight saving time end for 2026? All right, so most Americans fall back to standard time at 2 a.m. local time the first Sunday of November, which this year is November 1. By then, the country will be nearly 6 weeks until fall after the autumn equinox on September 22. Right? Equinox is when you have equal days and night. Daylight saving time will be in effect for 238 days, according to the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is a government agency that provides the official time for the U.S. Daylight saving time was first adopted in 1918 in an effort to conserve fuel during World War, and according to the Congressional Research Service, it was used during World War II for the same reason, right? The annual time change has been in effect consistently since the 60s, but it hasn't been found to be significant source of decrease in energy consumption. So the main reason for the daylight saving time was to conserve energy during the war. But now they're saying that it hasn't seen significantly decrease in the energy consumption. The Transportation Department found it had minimal benefits when it came to energy conservation, traffic safety, and reducing violent crime, according to the congressional research. After daylight saving time start date was moved to 2007, the Energy Department found electricity consumption fell by 0.03%. So the shift has also been associated with negative health effects. Some states do not observe daylight saving time, and some of those states are Hawaii and Arizona, with the exception of Navajo Nation in the northeast part of the Grand Canyon state. The territories of American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands do not change their clock. Jamaica don't do it as well. All right? So this is not everywhere. Some places are not using the daylight saving time strategy because basically, based on the research, they're saying they don't see where it significantly decreased energy consumption. So, they don't see where it's effective. And another area says, and another concept is it has negative health effects because it messes with your biological clock. The switching back and forth, people losing sleep and stuff like that allows people to be sick or heart attack, stroke, getting accident because they didn't get enough sleep and then they have to get up and go to work. It is a thought for those people to, change it. All right. So let's look at some current rules for daylight saving time. All right. These are some current rules. We never know so there are rules about it, brother. The rules for daylight saving time changed in 2007 for the first time in 20 years. 2007 come up here now. The new changes were enacted by the Energy Policy Act, which extended the length of daylight saving time to reduce energy consumption. That means you're going to turn on your light a little bit later and use less energy. It not apply to some of them places because typically you probably have to use light right through the night because in the US, some of the in the house them dark. It's not an era where, in Jamaica you have your glass windows and you based on your glass windows, you open up your window, you open up your door so you have regular light right through the day, and then in the night you turn on regular light, you turn on electricity light or whatever. In America, it's not like that. It's that once you come in the house, you have to turn on the light kind of the house them dark. And based on the type of material we make them a house here, they have to make you feel either keep the house warm or keep the house cool. And at the end of the day, you still have to go lock up your house anyway. It's not like you can walk up the door wide and make natural light come in at the building. So basically, I don't see where it is helping at any time to conserve nothing. So anyway, let's get back to the rules. So the rules increase of the duration of daylight saving time by 1 month. Lord Jesus and peace. DST, which is daylight saving time, is now in effect for 238 days for about 65% of the year. Although Congress retained the right to revert the prior law should the change prove unpopular or if energy savings are not significant. At present, daylight saving time in in the United States. So, okay, so they increased the number of days. They increased the number of days to 237 days out of the 365 or 366 days. So, daylight saving time. We already read that. Me now go through that again. Okay, all of that me read already. Okay. So, this is what the situation is with the daylight saving time, people. Everything here, so me read already. Negative health effects. Make we see what they say about negative health effects. All right. Daylight saving time bad for your health? That's a question. And this is what the health people them have to say, neurologists. As people in the US prepare to turn their clocks ahead 1 hour, I find it bracing for the annual ritual of media stories disruption to daily routines, causing switching from standard time to daylight saving time. About a third of Americans look forward to these twice yearly changes. Another 63 to 16% would like to eliminate it, right? So researchers are discovering that springing ahead each March is connected with serious negative health effects. All right, so this is based on research. One of those problem is missing sleep worsen health, because they said if you don't get enough sleep, you can have health problems. Falling back of going from daylight saving time to standard time each November by turning the clocks back 1 hour is relatively benign. While some people may feel thrown off balance and need a few weeks, researchers hasn't linked it to any serious impacts on health. All right, so that's the researchers speaking. Springing forward is harder on the body. However, this is because our clock time move an hour later. In other words, it feels like 7 a.m. even when it's 8 a.m. So the permanent shift into later morning light for almost 8 months, not just the day of the change or a few weeks afterward. This is particularly noted because morning light is valuable for helping to set natural body rhythm. It wakes you up and improve alertness, and that's something I have to do with sunlight. Once you in the sunlight, it kind of opens up your alertness. In contrast, exposing to light later in the evening delays the brain to release melatonin, the hormone that promotes drowsiness. So this can interfere with sleep, cause us to sleep less overall, and the effect can last even after most people adjust to losing an hour of sleep at the start of daylight saving time. Because puberty also causes melatonin to be released later at night, meaning that teenagers have a delay in natural signal that helps them fall asleep. Adolescents are particularly susceptible to sleep problems from the extended evening light of daylight saving time. This shift in melatonin during puberty lasts into our 20s. So adolescents may also be chronically sleep deprived due to school, sports, and social activity. For instance, many children start sleep around 8 a.m. or earlier. This means that daylight saving time, many young people get up and travel to school in pitch darkness. Start school, yes, start school. So can you imagine people who start school 7 a.m.? You start school 7 a.m., That means, say, you lose more than 1 hour sleep, Because when you're there at school at darkness, Geography also make a difference in how daylight saving time affects people. One study showed that people living in the western end of the zone who get light later in the morning and light later in the evening get less sleep than the counterparts in the eastern edge of the time zone. This study found that Western edge residents have higher rates of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, breast cancer, as well as lower per capita income and higher health care costs. Other research has found that rates of certain other cancers are higher in the western edge of the time zone. Scientists believe that these health problems may result of a combination of sleep deprivation and the circadian misalignment, which is a matching time between our biological rhythm and the outside world. In other words, the timing of daily work, school, and sleep routines is based on the clock rather than on the sun's rising and setting. Oh, this is so interesting. Now, I've always talked about the history. I'm not going to go back to the history. A strong case for permanent standard time. Americans are splitting whether they prefer permanent daylight saving time or permanent standard time. Me personally, the fact that I know it's gonna get even on a typical regular time, it's gonna be darker later, right? So even if we don't have the daylight saving time, we will still have a later night, right? So with me, I'm like, okay, I like the daylight saving time because I can go to the gym after school. I can stay out a little bit longer, with that effect. But I don't like when I get up in the morning, it's dark. So it's like, it's messing up my biological clock. Standard time most closely approximate natural light with the sun directly overhead at near noon. In contrast, during daylight saving time from March to November, the natural light is shifted unnaturally by 1 hour later. Based on abundant evidence that daylight saving time is unnatural and unhealthy, I believe we should abolish daylight saving time. And this is what this article is saying. That is not my point. That's the point of the writer who wrote the article. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think they should just abolish daylight saving time? What are your thoughts about that? And they're basically saying it is not connected with no negative effect, but I don't know. Here's a research, and it's from a research based on daylight saving time. They have the abstract, they have the summary. Let me see what author summary say. Over a quarter of the world population is subjected to daylight saving time shift twice a year, which disrupt both human work and rest schedule and possibly body's biological clock. Several clinical studies have reported increased risk in cerebrovascular and cardiovascular problem with daylight saving time shift, but little is known about other potential health risks. The DST shift represents a natural exposure experiment and allows us the unique opportunity of linking health outcomes to an external statewide event in the US and Sweden. So these researchers put together an abstract and they decided that they are going to collect data, they're going to look at the statistics, and they're going to look at the results and see if the daylight saving time affects humans in Sweden and US. And they have their analysis. Oh, wow. So let me read one of the analysis. Our analysis reproduced the major past literature findings such as elevation in heart disease rates in males and females older than 60. They also discovered that the novel significant RR change signals such as the daylight saving time shift associated increase in mental and behavioral disorder due to some elevated psychoactive substance used in the male adult population. So anyway, I'm not going to read through all of that, but basically they are saying that they find some correlation between some kind of mental alertness and the daylight saving time, and that's based on their research. So let me know your thoughts about daylight saving time. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you don't want do you not want it? Or what is your take on daylight saving time? So remember, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when Lady B update another video or whenever I decide to go live. So, basically daylight saving time is happening this weekend. So change your clock. Or some clock automatically change. Right? Some clock automatically change back. But if you don't have your clock change back, you might think it's early when it's late. No, you might think it's late when it's early because it's gonna spring forward. So instead of 8 o'clock, it's gonna be 9 o'clock. So yeah, you're gonna be late. You're gonna think you're early, but you're late. Big up on yourself. I'm out.